Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Coco in the Sun podcast. I am your host, Malika Critchlow, feeling full of potential today, feeling like anything could happen. That's good. Good things are coming my way. So happy to be here with you guys. I hope you're feeling the same way or better. And if you're not, I hope you know that this too will pass. It's all part of your growth and your creation, this contraction and expansion and contraction and expansion. They go hand in hand. So, what do I want to share today? Well, we're going to continue reading, of course, our book. I think we finished today the Tibetan, not the Tibetan, the Taoists. We finished that today, and I think we started the Tibetan Buddhist alchemies, and then maybe we'll be soon, maybe by the end of next week, we'll be finished with this part of the book, and we can get into the story of Judy Sion, the second writer of the book. What did I learn since I last spoke to you? So yesterday I went to the Zoom class with the Isling Dream Interpretation Institute. Remember I mentioned it to you guys before, and it was so good. It was a really good class, and he really broke down he told a lot of like his own story, which was really, really interesting. But yeah, he was saying the different types of, he said literally like everybody is a channel basically, because we have access to our guides, our protectors, our angels, our higher self or divine self to get guidance on how to live the best life for you. And he said that they would tell you, like, say if you wanted to do something and find if that's the right thing to do, like open a type of business or how to get money or maybe take a certain class. He says, whereas, yeah, you'd probably take the class and learn something from it. It probably wouldn't expand you in the way, and there would probably be something else that's better suited to you that would be more enjoyable to you. So they'll let you know. They'll let you know, yeah, you should do this. No, you shouldn't do that. Or and he said they'll tell you the best way for you too. Like you may think it's one way to get to something, and they'll tell you now you can do it this way and it's better for you and more easy and flow. He said, but what has to happen though is we do have to open up those channels. And he was saying to do that, things have to be cleared, blocks have to be removed in order to open those channels, and that there's different ways that they communicate, and you just have to find out the best way for you, that the way that you chose for this life to come in and use for that. And he was so he listed like 9, I got 8, so I think I missed one. But basically, he was saying clairvoyance, where you can see things, clairaudience, where you hear things, telepathy, where thoughts are expressed upon you, clairsentience, and you can feel like hot or cold, you can feel stuff. He said, the trance channel, where they come in and they channel. He said, people that do that, they like doing it. And people that don't like it, it's probably not the way. Like if you feel icky about it, it's probably not the way that you pick. But people that, when they find out that's the way that they channel, they're usually excited. He said inspired writing and automatic writing. So inspired writing is where they inspire you. Automatic writing is when they, similar to trance channeling, like they come in and you just write. You don't know what you're writing. And when you read it back, then it makes sense. But inspired writing is like you in conversation or inspired by these thoughts. And what was the eighth one? I wrote them down. I don't know why I didn't bring the list here with me. I'm gonna go get it. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I got the list. My notes. Okay. So the ways that you're able to channel is either through thinking or intuition. I forgot about intuition. Okay. So clairvoyance is visions and seeing. Intuitions are feelings, like emotions. Telepathic is thoughts impressed on the mind. Clairaudient, you can hear spirit. Automatic, right? He said for clairaudient, sometimes it's like a song that, or a line in a song that plays. Or and once you acknowledge it, then the next line will come, or maybe that's all they want to tell you and hear anything else after that. So that is true. I have experienced this just the other day. I don't know if I remember telling you, I was telling them like, I'm so grateful for how they're taking care of my needs, but like I'd like to expand more and learn how to create more for myself, experience more prosperity. And that same evening, and that's sorry, my daughter just came downstairs. That same evening, they played a song. Well, this verse was in my head.
Today, not tomorrow, not next week.
Hold on
Today
one
is
second.
the day I hope you will donate.
Trying to find the part of this song. Gosh, wow. This is not a part of the song, but I'm trying to find it. Yeah, so after I asked and was asking for more information on how to do that. That's what I got. Didn't tell me how to do it, but it was like more, more, more. So I think it was confirmation that more is coming, and I am going to expand in that way. But anyway, it was funny. So that's clairaudient. Like you just hear like a certain line in a song. That's what he was saying, or sometimes you can just hear whatever voice clearly. Sometimes it's your voice, sometimes it's not your voice, but you can tell, you said you can tell the difference. Even if it's your voice, you can tell that it's like your higher self or your divine self. And I think that's true also because one time when I was waking up, I always used, I tell you guys all the time, I woke up and I heard in my mind, it's like not in your ears, it's weird. In your mind, you can hear stuff. And it was like divine blue light, right? Another time I heard, I love you, Malaika. It was my voice saying it, but I was sleeping. So, and it was really such a, I had never heard myself say I love you to myself. Um, it was so profound. And so now I do it every night in the mirror after that experience. So I think that's like clairaudient. Okay, so let's go over clairvoyance, visions and seeing, intuition, feeling, telepathic thoughts, impressed on the mind, clairaudient, hears spirit or might hear like song lines or phrases. Automatic writing, channel keeps mind distracted or zoned out and allows hand to move. Inspired writing, channel waits for spirit to inspire writing. They're told what to write about. Writing flows easily. So he said, he gave an example, like you could be trying, say if you're writing a book, I'm sorry. And like nothing's coming, and you still want to force it, so you write like a page and a half. But like if you wait for the inspiration, you write like 3 chapters in a really short period of time. So much so that you actually throw out the page and a half. You were struggling for the whole day before. So it's like inspired. Bessie said that's inspired writing. Then there's trance, that's channel, allow spirit to enter the body and speak or move. He said if this is something you feel the ick about, you don't really want to do, it's probably not your route. But people that do this usually really love that fact that they do this. They're excited. And he said physical sensation. It usually accompanies another method. He says, so you feel like hot or cold sensations physically in the body. Says he has this and he uses it like when he's trying to verify something. So if he gets like maybe something clairvoyantly and he says, is this correct? This understanding of what I'm getting correct, then he will get like a confirmation, like he'll feel a warm feeling, but if it's not correct, then he might feel a cold feeling. He said, but everyone has the ability to do this. I believe everyone does have the ability to do this, but I believe this doesn't open, it's open based on love and how we expand in love. The more we expand in love, I believe the clearer we get with this. I think the way we expand in love in terms of healing to get to a true self and accepting authentic self is what really allows for this in a clearer way. And so he was saying like for his course, he has a course where he teaches this. It's a 14 to 15-week course, and the course it gives you like, he listed all the things that they do in the course, and if I had the money, I would definitely want to do that course. It is $4,900, but he said all the stuff that you get is worth 13,000. I know that's like a sales pitch, but I would say that I really felt like he was genuine and authentic. I don't know about the other people that's a part, like that's, he has a part of the course, because I think he does one part, but they have other people that different sections. But he seemed really genuine. And yeah, last night I was a little bit bothered by that. All these things that could really help me, I don't have access to financially. And then what I understood was that maybe I don't have access to it financially now because I'm not ready for that now, or maybe I have another route of getting there, because before these courses were created, all these people that created these courses had to get there in their own way. So it's not like it's not possible. It definitely is. The courses just make it easier, I think, and faster. But maybe I'm not meant for the fast and easy route. Maybe I enjoy taking my time and enjoying the scenery. But also I was saying, this is like a discussion I'm having with myself and my guides and my angels. Like, I feel like it's continuing the capitalist aspect of everything. And like, I feel like it's only being made available because of the cost of it to certain aspects of society. And there's a massive aspect of society that it could actually benefit, and they could use guidance to figure out the best career, the best mates, the best living places, like all these things. I mean, guidance that could help us prosper our souls. And they can't see the light, and this would help. And it's not going to be accessible to them. So they will continue to be in this state of not knowing. And because of money being what makes it accessible. And what I understood after having that thought and working through it was that maybe it is like that now, but maybe after these teachers or these adventurers into this aspect of consciousness have made enough money doing what they are doing, maybe maybe they'll make it free for everyone after they take care of what's needed to be taken care of, you know? Because I suspect they're being guided to make these courses and how much to charge for these courses. I'm sure they're asking if that's okay to do and stuff like that. And it helps create their own abundance, which then helps them create abundant situations for others and businesses and stuff like that. And maybe after a while, if they make enough money with it, then everybody will have access to it because they wouldn't need to be like they wouldn't need the money as much anymore because they'd be okay. Like all new things that come out, that's what I think. Well, that's what I was made to understand. So yes, while I did have a mild frustration with, because the Antica course also is really one I want to do that helps with healing your masculine and feminine aspects. And then allowing for the gifts to come in and the guidance, the awareness, the communication. And I think as that video was saying the other day of the levels of consciousness, that this begins with love. I think the healing of the masculine and feminine is assists with allowing us to be the love that we are. And this guy, his course, the first 5 weeks is clearing blocks. And they say clearing blocks, but I consider it healing. This healing, this traumas and stuff that have occurred in our life or even in our ancestral lives. I think assistance with clearing those things and healing from those things allows us to be more love, and this allows for more communication, as that consciousness video from the Monroe Institute stated, that this begins at the 4th level of human consciousness, which is the 18th level of material consciousness. This is where our guides come in and can start communicating with us. So yeah, I think it's just different ways of phrasing it, but it literally is all the same thing. Getting to the love aspect of ourselves, and what blocks us is all this trauma and all these things that help ground us here. And these are obstacles that we need to learn and navigate and get past to the love aspect in order to open up to the guides, and then our lives start to change and our ways um of living and being starts to change. The self-love comes in. All that was blocking all the self-love. Once the self-love comes in, then the other aspects of love for others also does come in. We do have to look at what all those hard things to look at and love it. So yeah, he was saying that the first 5 weeks is clearing and figuring out what's the way that you channel, like what's the best way for you. And then he was talking about his own experience and like the access to different gifts he had. Like at first he could see spirits. That scared him at first, but he was like 26 and he was an atheist and he started meditating, and then he didn't know the meditating was causing him to see spirits, and it was freaking him out. Anyway, so that first came in, and he said eventually he could see auras, he could feel auras, he can see the different colors of people, and by seeing the different colors, I think they can tell like what's their strongest chakra or aura. Then he started seeing chakras, like he could see the chakras and if they're closed or open, or I wonder if the love opens the chakras, because he was saying that at one time his communication shut down for like 10 days, and so he went to see someone to help with that, and they were like, oh, your chakras are closed, they're like doubled over closed, and it helped him open up, and then the communication opened up. So I wonder if love helps with opening the chakras so that we can communicate and get our gifts. He has the gift of hands-on healing and other things. He was also talking about the safety in channeling. And he said this doesn't happen to everyone, but you do want to make sure when you go in that you do access light, beings of love and light, and beings of a higher vibration. And he was like, it's just like if you're walking in the jungle and there are a lot of species in there, and you don't want to kill every species to get to the waterfall, but you do want to take the safest path there where you don't stop other aspects of life or you don't want to disturb other aspects of life from doing what they're doing in their own daily lives and enjoying their own stuff. So basically, you don't want to bring like too much attention to yourself. You need to know how to do that safely. So he was talking about that. And then he was talking about there are aspects of consciousness that are low vibrational. He even used the word evil. He said he doesn't like to use that word evil, but basically so light and dark really refers to, I mean, it's a physical representation, and I think and it's true, like they use the physical representation for it, and the physical representation could be also valid, but light and dark can be wisdom and ignorance. And he was like, some people do avoid the live review, and he was like, there's YouTube videos that show people how to avoid the live review and going into the light and healing. And so he was like, they have some beings that don't want to do that, or they enjoy um power structures, etc. And they don't want changes to occur and stuff like that. And he said he was really naive and didn't think that existed until he encountered it and he was attacked. But he said it doesn't happen to everyone. It tends to happen to light workers that help heal other people or affect how others see themselves. And so he said, you're gonna have to learn how to protect yourself and stuff like that. But basically, if you're going to channel, ways to protect yourself if you're going into just not necessarily the attack things, doesn't happen to everyone, but to not disturb others and to only access what's light and love and higher vibration. So it was really cool that he shared a lot about that though, about what's possible, and you need to learn how to do that. So he says to safely channel that we have to ground our base chakra. He said, and then there's also, most people ground to earth, but sometimes some of us can't ground to earth. It'd be more dangerous to us, and you can ground to the moon. And he was saying there's another way to ground, but he talked about that alternative ways in a different part of the meeting. So, but yeah, you have to ground your base chakra, and you have to know which way is best for you to ground. You have to clear your energetic field. I think of those blocks and those traumas. So I think a lot of healing has to occur before, not a lot, but healing does have to occur. And the more that there's clearing and healing, the more you would be able to receive the guidance. So ground base chakra, clear the energetic field, and then raise your vibration, relax into it. And then connecting using channeling methods that work for you. And then you have to know how to close your connection. Close the chakras just to what is needed for the physical world. So I guess the more our chakras open, we open to this guidance from a higher vibration. But like after we get the guidance, we have to learn how to close that the chakras down to what's needed for our physical world. So to do that, so you can do something mundane, like don't think about what you channeled, but like probably go watch the show that you really like, or go cook, or stuff that you like to do on this earth plane. So, and then he did give a basic thing to say to ask your higher self, divine self, sacred self, whatever you call that aspect of your being, to clear your channel. Then he also asked about, he says, he gave like wording how to do that. He also gave wording, if that doesn't work, to bring in your protector to help protect you and help in clearing. And then also if that doesn't work, he said there's an Earth Council, I think, so he gives Oh, hold on, guys. I did this lady on Thread said that she was a shaman, and if you go if you commented on her thread, if you commented on her thread, I'm ready. She'll give you a message from your guides. I did it because I'm silly like that. She gave me two messages. Wow. Reading it. I'm going to pause this and then we continue. It wasn't that lady responding. So, but anyways, we shall continue. So, forget what I was saying. Yeah, so these are the things he was talking about. Oh yeah, he said, so you asked me, he gave the exact reading. I don't have it. Also, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share it because it's his information. I do not want to mess with anyone that has access to the spiritual world by doing something or give it, and then you guys use the reading and he has put a protection on it if you're not in the meeting. I don't know. So I can't share it word for word. But basically, the first aspect is asking your divine or higher sacred self to help clear the channels. To ask your assigned protector to assist with clearing if there's resistance, and that if that's not able to still clear, then there's specific wording for the earth authority to step in and assist with the clearing. I think that's going to be like healing. So I think what will come up are things that you need to heal. You start to be aware of stuff that if you weren't before. If you were before, maybe it'll be more intense. I'm gonna try it to see and I'll let you know. And then the second step he has where you ask the highest self to get your guardian angel involved to help restore whatever channel that's best for you. And then the grounding but that would depend on the best way for you to ground. So it was a really good meeting, and of course then he was talking about the course that they offer, which is $4,900, but I do think it can accelerate the process for you. I think there's a lot that they have learned that they can share to assist and interpret and clear, and they have developed their gifts enough to assist in that process. So, however, if you don't have money, like I don't at this time, this will not be my standard. I will um I will get there eventually on my own way. My soul would lead me to the best path for me, so that's that about the course, but I really was interested and I thought it was a really cool course. And if I had money to spare like that, I would be curious to see how I would have evolved in those 15 weeks. But maybe I'll evolve faster by myself. I don't know. I don't know. He's really responsive too, because like I emailed him um about the meeting and being excited for it and about some of my dreams I was having. And he did respond and he did say he was going to send it to his radio, one of the girls that does the radio station and the emails, and see if they can, they'll probably respond with any feedback, stuff like that. So I felt heard and seen. I didn't feel like just a sales pitch or just somebody that just cares about money. He didn't feel like that. He felt very authentic and genuine. So That's just my humble opinion. So if you guys are interested, check out the Aisling, Aisling Dream Interpretation Institute, I think is the name. Just Google it, and the website will come up, and see what offerings they have, what you can learn there. I found a thing for cutting ties. I think I'm going to check that out too later. I find my dreams are like showing me aspects about the divine feminine and masculine that may need healing. um yeah. I don't know how to heal it. But and I'm not really sure what the dreams are showing me, but let me tell you, they are strange dreams, and I'm like, oh, I'm clutching my pearls, but I know it's not. I know the dreams are symbolic of something. They're not like literal. So yeah, but I think there's some healing with my feminine and masculine, which will further assist me. So I've been asking my guides and angels to clarify what the dreams mean, and if they do mean what I think it means, to help me heal. And so we'll see how that works. We'll see how that works and how long it takes. Anyway, so let us continue with our Taoist stuff and see if we can finish with Taoism today and maybe start the Tibetan Buddhist stuff. Okay, so dual cultivation. Dual cultivation has some striking parallels to methods discussed in the manuscript. There are also some very significant differences. In order to understand this type of alchemy, we must return to yin and yang. According to Taoist theory, a healthy female possesses a virtually unlimited amount of yin qi that is yin. This is part of her nature. A healthy male, on the other hand, has a limited amount of yang. Unlike the female, his nature does not grant him an unlimited reservoir of yang qi. In the advanced form of qi cultivation, the female alchemist must collect yang energy in order to balance her excess yin. And the male must collect the yin energy in order to balance his excess yang. In actuality, it is much more complex. The ultimate balancing of yin and yang within a practitioner is paramount, since it is only when yin and yang have been balanced. We were just talking about my feminine and masculine aspects needed healing. It's only when since it is only when yin and yang have been balanced that certain alchemical practices can be engaged. Thus, all Taoists seek to balance the forces of yin and yang within themselves. Those alchemists practicing alone must accomplish this task through elaborate alchemical meditations and energy work. Those who do this with a partner of the opposite sex can simply collect the desired qi during the act of sex. During sexual contact, there is an abundance of excess qi. The acts of stroking and fondling set off flows of qi both inside and around the body. An alchemist trained in the methods of dual cultivation can draw the excess qi into his or her qi body, thereby greatly enhancing his or her alchemical work. During dual cultivation, the male avoids ejaculation, as this would deplete his yang energy and bring the act of intercourse to an end. In this type of alchemy, long periods of intercourse are desired. The reason is quite simple and pragmatic. Prolonging sex generates massive amounts of qi, and since the goal of dual cultivation is to collect excess qi, the more the better. To assist in this process, the ancient Taoists developed something called the valley orgasm. When the male starts to feel that ejaculation is close at hand, he backs off from genital stimulation. He rests for a moment until the desire increases. Then he returns to intercourse. This continues in cycles of stimulation and rest for as long as the partner's desire, The result is that both partners enter highly altered and deeply sensual states by which their sensitivity to qi is greatly increased. In addition, the amount of excess yin and yang generated from each continual sexual contact is considerable. The final attainment, land of the immortals. The ultimate goal of Taoist alchemy is immortality. Having attained quiet of mind through the stillness practices, the Taoist alchemist has trained him or herself to be aware of the many types of qi. And with this knowledge, he or she has been able to collect and cultivate beneficial qi through the subtle pathways of the body. He or she has learned how to distill the essence of this excess qi into energy for the purpose of increasing health and generating enhanced consciousness. Along the way, the alchemist gets healthier and more vital, a result of collecting qi and circulating it into the major organs of the body. This is gratifyingly one of the key benchmarks to progress in this way of alchemy. And even if he or she does not attain the immortal body, the work of alchemy has been well worth the effort. Eventually, through persistent practice, the subtle qi body is charged with vital force as well. It becomes as real as the Taoist alchemist, as real to the Taoist alchemist as his or her physical body. And through it, he or she can, in meditation, enter heavenly abodes where master alchemists abound, and one can greatly accelerate one's progress through the grace of instruction. Finally, the great alchemical task of transforming sexual essence into spirit, Shen, is coming to fruition. Long years of practice are bearing fruit, and the alchemist is in some ways more spirit than flesh, though he or she still has a body. The moment comes when the Taoist, now a sage, senses a moment in time. All the forces have come together in perfect timing. Yin and yang are perfectly balanced. Death might be near, or the alchemist might simply choose to leave the earth plane as well. Entering into deep meditation, the sage passes beyond the grips of time and space. The breath stops, attention is shifted into the chi body, as it has been done so many times before. The Taoist has mounted the dragon, his or her own transformed nature, and flies off into the heavenly abode. The alchemist is now an energy being. He or she might remain like this for a very, very long time. The moment may come, however, when no longer desiring even the subtlest of forms, the sage leaves the heavenly abode behind. The master alchemist refines his or her already subtle chi even more. Attaining the subtlest form, he or she returns to the formless heaven from which he or she originated. And as the sage slips into this primal space, all traces of the self disappear. The drop has slipped into the shining sea. There is no form, there is no sage, there's only the Tao. And that's the end of Taoism. Now we begin Tibetan Buddhist alchemy. I should put on my glasses. I can't believe I'm being started. Tibetan Buddhist alchemy. Of all the forms of Buddhism, and there are many, I personally find the Tibetan forms to be the most vibrant. Part of this is due, no doubt, to the fact that Tibetan Buddhism is actually a synthesis of both Buddhism and the Bon religion. When Siddhartha became the Buddha, the Bon had already existed for many centuries. The Bon were known as master magicians and sorcerers, and today there are still persons practicing the ancient religion. Much of the Bon deals with the residing spirits of the primal elements, earth, air, sky, and water, as well as spirits and beings that reside in places of power, such as mountains and openings into the earth. When Padmasambhava brought Buddhism into Tibet, he encountered many of these spirits. Some of the beings were quite negative. The Pimi, as the Tibetans call him, and Pimi, as the Tibetans call him, transformed these demons into protectors of the Dharma, the way of Buddhism, which is why some of the protected deities look so fierce. I imagine that it is due to the bond that the Tibetan forms of Buddhism have so many more deities, energy beings, than do other forms of Buddhism. And the various forms of Tibetan Buddhist alchemy reflect this abundance. The idea of energy beings may seem foreign to Westerners since these beings are non-corporeal, meaning without physical form. However, they do have bodies of a kind. They are more energy than mass, and for the most part, we are unaware of them. However, if a person's awareness is refined enough, as through meditation practice, one can not only sense these beings, but one can interact with them as well. The attributes of such beings were cataloged by lamas centuries ago in highly secret texts, which for the most part have not found their way into the West. In certain types of advanced alchemy practiced by Tibetan hermits in their remote high mountain retreats, some of these beings were utilized in secret tantric rituals. I will speak more on this later, but first I think it would be good to discuss the fundamental insight of Buddhism in general, since this forms the foundation upon which the alchemical practice of Tibetan Buddhism are engaged. Indeed, without this foundation of Buddhist philosophy, the practices of Tibetan alchemy can lead to misunderstanding and abuse. Emptiness. Emptiness. From the many insights offered by the Buddha regarding samsara, the world of illusion, perhaps the most penetrating is the concept of emptiness. For many Westerners hell-bent to fill every quiet moment, this concept is strange indeed. But a cursory glance at quantum physics shows that this modern science is utterly and completely in agreement with the Buddha's assessment. According to the quantum view, there is very little solidity to matter. Take your body, for instance. It has been estimated that we are comprised of plus or negative 99.9% of space. Of all the actual physical matter of your body, if all the actual physical matter of your body was put into a pile, it would fit on the tip of a pin. To our physical eyes and to our physical touch, we remain solid. But this is illusory, a smoke and mirror show created by our physical senses. In point of fact, we are mostly emptiness. According to Buddhism, if you go deep enough into the heart of all things, there is only emptiness, and therefore nothing is ultimately real since it is, at its heart, empty and devoid of form or identity. Take your body again. It has senses through which you make contact with the world around you. Out of these 5 senses, you create your experience of yourself and the world around you. That wasn't a typo, by the way. You are the creator of your experience. You tend to identify with what you like and distance yourself mentally from those things that you don't like. Perhaps you like the color of your eyes, but dislike the texture of your hair. When you see your eyes reflected back, you see you in a mirror. You might pause for a moment to enjoy looking at them. But when you catch a glimpse of your hair, you may find yourself feeling uncomfortable or self-critical. These emotional responses to ourselves and the world are experienced as quite real. They have a punch and a power that is sometimes difficult to avoid. However, all of this is based on nothing. So if you go deep enough into the brain, for instance, into the neurons responsible for holding the thought and emotions of self-criticism or self-glorification, you will find that eventually there is nothing. In other words, at the deepest levels of the cells, that is, the atomic and subatomic levels, there is no mass, no solidity, only space and emptiness. Wow. Relative and absolute existence. To summarize an essential concept in Tibetan Buddhism, form is emptiness and emptiness is form. Neither is real nor unreal. They are both existing and non-existing. To the Western mind, this may very well seem like nonsense. How can something exist and non-exist at the same time? Well, what this statement refers to is both absolute and relative existence. You and I exist at the relative level of creation. We have a common illusion of solidity, but at the deepest levels of our very physicality, there is nothing, only emptiness. Therefore, at the absolute level of creation, you and I do not exist. We are like mirages, like clouds. We come and go. For a moment, we seem quite real, and then we pass away. Thus, not only are we essentially empty, we are impermanent as well. Wow. Like, wow. I think I'm going to sit with that today. I think I'm going to end there. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, the next podcast, we'll continue. Because I have to think about this. I have to sit with this. This is powerful. Existence and non-existence at a very deepest levels, atomic and subatomic levels, there is no mass. But these are the things that make us in the trillions and billions. Wow. Hey. Anyways, I hope that we had a good time today, that you enjoyed what was discussed, that you learned something that helped you along your own evolutionary journey, your own soul path, your own path to joy and beauty and love and freedom and laughter. I hope that you know you are loved, that you are love, and you take time with yourself in finding your way and enjoying the journey. I feel like I'm at the enjoying the journey again stage. I feel really supported right now. I had a few things happen that was so time specific and was brought to my attention in such a cool way. It's hard to not think that I am not being guided to what's best for me, you know? So I'm just having faith in that and relaxing in that and allowing for that and just allowing myself to be loved. Bye. The universe and my guides and my team and my divine self. The soul prosperity thing has me just looking forward to finding out what brings my soul prosperity. And it's gonna be so cool to find all the ways that I couldn't even fathom. And when they occur, be like, wow, this is so good. Like I couldn't even fathom this in my ego level. So yeah, curious to see where this leads. I hope you have a fabulous day though. And if I'm not back until next week, I hope you have a great weekend. Maybe I'll feel good enough to do one tomorrow. I always think that I will and then I don't, but maybe I will. So have a great day, guys. Bye.